past the silver screen. Steven, JT, Bruce, let's look past them together.
How's it going, everybody? This is Steven with Past the Silver Screen, and we got to talk about Toy Story 5. If you haven't already, please check out our Summer Blockbuster Preview episode on Past the Silver Screen on here, YouTube, and Spotify. We talk about the movies that are coming out here, and Toy Story 5 did come up in that conversation. And at the time, I gave Toy Story 5 about a 3.5 out of 5 for my excitement levels, just because it's another legacy franchise. It's something like Indiana Jones 5, where no one really asked for it, but we still watched it, and to nobody's surprise, it was just an average movie at best. You could even argue that it's probably the worst in the franchise, and that franchise has Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which is really saying a lot. But when it comes down to Toy Story 5, you know what they're capable of. They delivered Toy Story 3, which was the greatest Toy Story movie so far that we've ever had, as well as it's probably a top 5 animated movie of all time. It is seriously so perfect. You couldn't do that movie any better. And the only thing Toy Story, I think, as a franchise could have done is maybe stop right after 3. I don't think we need anything else following these toys. I don't even think we should have gotten any side shows about other toys that we follow. I think 3 is a perfect ending. It's the greatest send-off you could have for these characters. And then Toy Story 4 came out. And for me, Toy Story 4, I was not a big fan. I thought it was, I thought the movie didn't really know its identity while being a Toy Story movie. You have this franchise that's so iconic and so great, yet they throw all these brand new characters in, a lot of new characters in, and it's just not exciting. It wasn't anything groundbreaking and new. I thought the story was pretty flat, and the movie was only good in the last 15 minutes. And that's just my opinion. If you think differently for Toy Story 4, please, by all means, let us know in the comments. But today we're going to talk about Toy Story 5. And I personally believe that Toy Story 5 is a much better movie than Toy Story 4. I think story-wise, it blows 4 out of the water. 4 is probably the worst. It's probably dead last in my Toy Story movie ranking, with nothing touching the first 3 still. So that also says a lot to this movie. But I thought the great thing this movie did versus 4 was the inclusion of new characters, because it made them actual focal points of the story. They weren't just thrown in there as, the humor and the relief. It wasn't anything like that. And I really appreciated that about this movie. And for that, my favorite standout character in the movie was Conan O'Brien's character, Smarty Pants. I thought it was super fun. It had Conan's sense of humor, and he just played a toy, or basically like a machine that would help kids use the restroom. And if you've seen the movie, but if you haven't, please go watch it. It'll make a lot more sense. But let's get into the review. So, as we all know from the trailer, this movie follows the lily pad technology, which is a tablet, and how tablets and technology are really just hurting the kids' imagination and the way that kids play nowadays. And growing up, I had toys from Toy Story that I would play with. I had action figures from Star Wars and Marvel, and we would play. You'd go outside with your bucket and you'd play with your friends. People would come over and just play with the toys. That was a normal thing to do. Nowadays, the movie does a good job at just showing every kid is glued to a screen. That's just the way that the world works now. And these toys are going through the motions of, now that we're replaced by technology, kids don't want to play anymore. But there are a few kids out there that still want to. Obviously, we have our main character, Bonnie, who loves playing with her toys. And she sees her friends, and they all have these new tablets, these new lily pad-esque tablets. They're all different animals in the movie. But they make fun of Bonnie for not having one. So Bonnie asks her parents for one, and they end up getting her the lily pad, which is the antagonist of the movie. And I just got to say, just from there, I was already hooked, because it's such a real topic that we can actually delve into. We all have family members or nieces, nephews, brothers, sisters who just are glued to a screen. They're younger than us, obviously, and they just don't play with toys anymore. It's really odd, especially just how we were raised. But that's the thing. We're raised differently than they were. But overall, just from that little plot point alone, I was hooked. And the movie does an awesome job at telling stories of all these other kids that do want to play versus the kids that are on the tablet, and even sort of things like online bullying and social media plays a huge part into this movie, with at times Bonnie being laughed at by her friends for wanting to play with toys. So I thought it was just it was a better story and a better message to kids than Toy Story 4 was, which I think that's what these movies should really delve deep into moving forward. But overall, I would give Toy Story 5 a 4 out of 5. I think it's a strong movie. It's definitely better than the fourth one, but I just don't think it cracks the top 3 for the originals. Those are just great movies, are masterpieces, each in their own right, but you got to see it. I think if you somewhat like Toy Story 4, or even if you were disappointed in Toy Story 4, check out Toy Story 5 because it is much better. It's a coherent story. It's funny, and it is emotional at times. There was times where I was, catching myself tearing up, but it was just a really good time. So let us know what you think in the comments. If you saw Toy Story 5, what did you think of the movie? And if you haven't, do you plan on seeing it? But I appreciate your time with me. Thank you for joining me past the silver screen.
Let's look past them together.